Okay, part 2. Um, okay. Now, there's a lot of different theories as to why men get really moody and cranky and stuff. It could be lack of nookie. I mean, especially if they're young, they want to just hump everything. They're kind of like untrained puppies. And that's fine. I get that way myself, where it's like, and whatever. Let's see. I personally think that men do have a cycle. They just don't have the side effects of the cramping and the bleeding and the headaches and the nausea and whatever, side effects that us women go through. I think they just get the bitchiness. They've done studies where, male-female couples, whenever the female was pregnant, the man would get morning sickness symptoms, weird food cravings, different things. It was called kvads. So if kvads has been proven, then PMS kvads can be similar. Okay? For me, my PMS time is typically right around when I'm hatching, when I'm ovulating, which also means that's my horniest time. So I'm bitchy and I'm horny at the same time. It's like 1 minute I want to kick my husband's ass, and then the next minute I want to screw his brains out. It's very difficult to keep myself on the level, and I love my kids, but I get cranky and bitchy at them too, and it's not fair. From their perspective, they're just like, geez, every so often, Mom just goes nuts. Sorry. There's really no excuse for it, and I have to try to curb that. It's a daily struggle, and many days I fail. But, and the other night, me and Charles got on each other and started just yelling. He was like, "You're not being nice," and I was like, "Damn right I'm not being nice." He's like, "You're not being fair," and I was like, "Yeah, I know I'm not being fair." And he was just like, and and he was just like, "You admitted to it. I don't know what to say." And I was like, "I don't know what to say either, so shut up." And he's like, "You shut up." And I was like, "Okay." So we just sat here. And I got upset and I walked into my room, closed the door, and cried. And, and it was just really bizarre, and I didn't know how to word it, so I was all like, "I'm the worst person ever," and I don't know if y'all saw that status message or not. If you didn't, that's okay. Don't bother looking at it, because it's just horrible. I was really upset. And it's just, his boss pisses me off. Okay? His boss has the wrong kind of male PMS. Where he's like, "I am the king, and you are my humble servant." Why he suddenly sounds French. He's actually Indian. But I just gave him a French accent. Okay, whatever. He has a Napoleon complex. Maybe that's why I said French. Maybe that's why I said it in a French accent. Whatever. This man, I call him Boss Man. He pisses me off. We owe him quite a chunk of change, and he thinks that he owns my husband because of this debt. Well, that's bordering on indentured servitude, if you ask me. And what's really funny is whenever I'm pissed off at somebody in real life and I really get angry, all of a sudden I just feel calm. It's like a calm before the storm. And I'll get really formal. Okay? And there's been several phone calls where I've actually answered the phone whenever Boss Man has called. And I'll just be like, "Oh, well, gee, just one moment, please. Let me go find him for you." And I'm like, "Charles, it's your boss." And then I hear his boss laughing on the phone, and he's just like, "Hey. And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "I'm not his boss right now, I'm his friend." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, please hold." And I'll hand the phone over to Charles. I'm like, "Okay, he says he's your friend right now. Is that his alter. Is that his alter personality right now? Is that he's a friend? He's in friend mode or something? You know, and it was kind of funny because his boss mentioned to him the other day, and I'm just going to scooch these up just so I can see. He mentioned to his boss, or his boss mentioned to him, you know, just in passing, he's like, you know, I really ought to hire your wife. And Chuck's like, what? I should? And he's like, yeah, hell yeah, she's really nice. I think she likes me. And Charles was like, no, she doesn't, man. Well, if she doesn't, why not? She hates your fucking guts, dude. She can't stand you. Really? But she's so nice to me. He's like, yeah, about that. When she starts getting really, really nice to you, run. He was like, for real? And he's like, yeah, she'll start tearing you apart. But she'll be yelling at you the whole time. She won't touch you. She'll just yell at you. Oh, fuck. Charles was like, yeah, you sure you want to hire her? And he's like, I don't know, I'm not so sure. Charles told me about this, and I said, dude, I wouldn't work for that man if it was the last job on the planet. I would clean out toilets for a living if that and being an employee of this man were the only two jobs left on earth. I would clean porta potties from a state fair over working for this man. That's how much I don't like that man. He knows who he is. I ain't tagging him because this is the interwebs. I just don't like him. Okay? And I have no problem with the company that my husband's working for. I think the company is great. You know, I'll promote that company to the ends of the earth. But the man that my husband is supposed to be partner / working for, independent contracting, however you want to slice or dice it, man's a douche. I mean, a douche to the end. And part 2 coming right up. Part 3.